Hello everyone, it is the unanonymous YouTuber here, and today I wanted to post a video a little bit. I haven't posted videos in a while. Actually, it's probably been about a year since I posted my last video, and I don't know why I really stopped. I actually really enjoyed making videos, and I just stopped for some reason. I got really busy with school and such, and even during the summer I had a lot of classes to deal with. So, you know, I'm just back just to post a video or two here and there. I don't know how constant I'm going to be posting videos, but, right now I have a bit of a free summer, and I thought, why not? It's sort of a different period of time for my life right now, and, I want to see what I can do today. Well, today I started playing Minecraft. One of my really close friends started getting into it, and I thought, why not? I hear my dog coming in here. Should have closed the door. That's cool. But yeah, I just wanted to see how everyone was doing. I just want to play, a little bit of Minecraft for a little while. I saw Homecoming yesterday. Hey, don't do that. Sorry, my dog. He came in. He does whatever he wants. Cause he runs my life apparently. It's a new dog. I just got him. I just adopted him. I'm not really comfortable giving out his name, but he's a little German Shepherd, and he's really amazing. I love him. He's only about 2 months old, and he's quite cool. I'm not really doing much right now in Minecraft, but I thought, why not? Like I said, I just got the game today. I've had the game for a little while, but I never really found many people to play with. And one of my really close friends started playing it, so I thought, why not get back into it? I've never really played the PC version all that much, but I have played the Xbox and the PS4 one because they're a little bit easier. I know how to. What is it? Oh, I'm still learning the controls, so it'll be a little bit. How do I? I'll have to check. I have no idea how to play. I don't do. What is it? I don't do PC. I guess I PC very often. So drop selected items. I want to get back into mods. I remember when I used to play a lot more when I was younger. When I used to get into it more. I used to love the mods. I was a huge Captain Sparkles fan. I still subscribe to him. He's probably like one of the only Minecraft channels that I'm still subscribed to. As a freaking 21-year-old almost. I still watch Minecraft here and there. It's a nostalgic sort of. It's nostalgic for me. Sometimes we all struggle through times, and I think sometimes when we're struggling with a lot of different things, we just try to, go back to a time when it was a little bit simpler. And Minecraft started that thing for me. And I'm going through a tough time, which I'm not going through right now, but it's just sort of a different medium for me to, because I haven't played video games in a little while. I just finished up Spiderman PS4 not too long ago, and it was pretty awesome. To be honest, I really enjoyed the characters, the commitment to like the nostalgia, because one of the people I was watching, his name's Charlie, but I can't think of his name. Oh, Emergency Awesome made a really interesting claim, or sort of interesting note about how like comic books are more of like a nostalgic media, because I'm big on comic books. I love comic books, and I love seeing comic books because it's more for me, because it's just sort of like me seeing sort of that that aspect of myself in a bigger media, because comic books are really something that's really close to my heart. So seeing people loving it and enjoying it, it sort of just brings me a sort of like a sense of happiness. Seeing so many people enjoy what I enjoy. And speaking of comic books, because I always talk about comic books, I watched Far From Home yesterday. It was fucking awesome. I am gonna get into spoilers because that's what I do here. I talk about stuff. So I really enjoyed it. It's E. I forget what it is. It's E. I started watching it. I actually really enjoyed it. Like I said, how do I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh. I know what I'm doing. I remember watching Captain Sparkles. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I shouldn't swear. I need to bleep that later. But no, but seriously, like I said, I watched Far From Home and I thought it was fucking cool. I need to bleep that again too. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it for a couple of reasons actually. Walking in, I had a sense of what the movie was going to be about because I know who the main villain is, which is Mysterio. If anyone doesn't know about it, it's Mysterio. And he's a weird character, to be honest. He's one of those characters that would be really hard to make on screen without making them really like dorky. But I think Jake Gyllenhaal, which I think is Mysterio, which is the name for Mysterio, is the actor, I should say. He actually played it really well, and like I said, I really enjoyed it because of because he's an illusionist in the comics, and sort of his big first appearance was when he was fighting Spider-Man. And he became like this giant version of Mysterio, and he didn't realize he was fighting an illusion. So that's sort of like his gimmick. And I personally, I really liked it, especially how they played it. Because I just think it's awesome. He acted really well, and I've noticed Jake Gyllenhaal himself has tried playing more interesting characters. I need to eat something. He's been playing more interesting characters, and I think Mysterio actually is one of the more interesting ones, because he is related a lot to Iron Man, which is, if anyone doesn't know, is this movie is sort of the tail end of Phase 3, even though it's the beginning of Phase 4, it is the tail end of Phase 3, and sort of closes out the first 10 years of Marvel, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it was sort of interesting to see, the aspects of Iron Man that still sort of that placate the world, because his big sort of motivation was the fact that he was sort of burned by Iron Man, which is pretty common. If anyone who doesn't read comics, Iron Man's a dick. He's definitely a bit of a jerk, and he fires and hires people pretty. He's pretty loose and fast about how he hires and fires people, and if anyone didn't watch Civil War, Civil War began with sort of the trauma that had sort of become of Tony Stark, and how he had sort of lost his hey, there's a chicken, kill the chicken. How he had sort of lost his parents. How he had sort of lost his parents, and he really couldn't deal with that all that much because he, it wasn't something that was really in his control. He, to his knowledge, they were murdered. They were just in a car wreck. But it turns out you find out that he was murdered by Bucky, which is the Winter Soldier at the time. No one knew about that. But it's just sort of really fun. It's really interesting how there's a shaft in there. I'll start getting back into there. But we see how he uses that technology, and the person that developed it was Mysterio. He used his illusion tech with he used such things like drones and such to sort of create these illusions. And he was thoroughly burned by Iron Man because he thought he was he believed he was unhinged, and he thought his technology was useless, even though Iron Man was using it to cope with his own trauma of losing his parents. So, and then even at the death of Iron Man, he realizes that the only way for people to respect him is to essentially create this idea that he is a superhero. And I really thought it was gonna be magic, but he doesn't do magic. Like I said, he is an illusionist, so he sort of he said creates magic. He's no Doctor Strange, of course. He's just an illusionist, which is essentially what normal what normal magicians that aren't like people like Doctor Strange essentially are. They're just illusionists. But magic in the MCU is kind of different. I personally don't like the way they explain it. I'm big on the magic stuff. Hey dog, quiet. I love magic. I love the magic in the MCU, but of course, like I said, I knew what was going on, so I wasn't too I wasn't too surprised. What I was surprised about was how well they did the illusions, and how well hey, let me eat that. How well they done the illusions and how trippy he got with it. Because for some reason they don't really explain it all that well, but I'm guessing it's due to trauma, because of losing sort of, because Peter Parker losing his sort of his idol, his sort of figure, which is Iron Man, sort of, I guess, traumatized him a little bit, and his spider sense wasn't working as well. So often, Mysterio would pop up these I haven't played Minecraft in a while, so I don't really know many of the updates, but damn, that looks really cool. I had the render distance a little bit lower because my computer isn't that good right now. I haven't upgraded it as of late. It's about a year or two old. But back to what I was saying. He does... Sorry, back to Mysterio, yeah. It's really fun how trippy he gets with it, because it's fun. You don't really know what's real and what's fake throughout the movie, because of how well the illusions look and feel. And it really played to Mysterio's strengths, and like I said, I don't think the movie would have worked as well if Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't able to play that kind of creepy character, because he does really well in acting like he cares about Peter, which he does to a certain extent, but he also cares about himself as a that's how villains work. They don't care about themselves. No, I thought he was a well collected villain. He was really interesting. Like I said, I love Jake Gyllenhaal's performance. I don't think he's dead, to be completely frank. I think he's alive. I think that was more illusions, because I think they're setting up for the Sinister Six movies. Yeah, I think that's that big next part for Spider-Man is going to be Sinister Six. What I am scared about is them killing off Peter Parker, because in the comics, I believe it is, I forget exactly what comic it is, but it's the one where he dies. It's a really beautiful comic, because it's night. I'm gonna get screwed. I need to build a little home. I need a bit of lead. I need to actually focus on playing. But I love talking about comic books, so it takes my distraction away. But with the creation of Sinister Six, you have a few already characters. You have a few characters already set up already. Vulture, which was from Far From Home. Also Matt Gargan, which is which they actually call him. How do I come up again? Yeah, they call him Matt Gargan, but his name's actually his name I believe is Scorpion. I believe he's supposed to be Scorpion, and we sort of see how the sun's really pretty, but we sort of see the beginnings of the Sinister Six in the first two movies. I'm pretty sure Mysterio is also going to be part of that, because like I said, I don't think he's dead. I think he's still alive. I think that was more illusion tech. I think he liked messing with Peter Parker. So I don't think he's dead. I think he's gonna be part of the Sinister Six. I think it's probably gonna be Vulture, Scorpion. Oh, there's a zombie. It's probably gonna be Mysterio, Vulture, Scorpion, probably the Green Goblin, which is Norman Osborn, which I'm hoping they explain who bought Avengers Tower, because if anyone doesn't know, in Homecoming again, they bought someone had bought Avengers Tower, and Tony had eventually transferred to Avengers Compound. Shoot, did I drop my crafting table? Oh no. Oh, did it break? I think it probably broke, that's why. Sorry, I need to focus on this game. No, but if anyone doesn't know, he doesn't, like I said, Tony sells Avengers Tower to, I'm hoping Norman Osborn, but they haven't really explained all that yet. Oh my god, die! Jesus! Why are there two of you? You guys are horrible. You guys' IQ range is high. I should eat chicken. Ah, crap. Oh well. Time to start again. It's the moon. But, no, it's clouds, actually. But, like I said, he had bought Avengers Tower. I was sort of hoping for eventually to get revealed. I thought that's what the post-credit scene was going to be. But I'll get into the post-credit scene a little bit later. But I believe that's what's going to be the setup of the Sinister Six is Mysterio, Green Goblin, Scorpion, and Vulture. And I can't think of the last two. I can't think of them. Maybe Rhino, possibly. Rhino's a little bit. Sorry about the cut, guys. I had a issue. But as I was saying was some of the characters that they could bring back is someone like Rhino, or they could bring. But I think what they're really trying to do with the MCU is really focus on a lot of like the more interesting characters, people like Thanos, people like people like the Vulture, which I thought was pretty interesting because you know, he's sort of emblematic of a problem of like wealth distribution. And although there are superheroes movies, they can deal with complex topics, like I said, like wealth disparity, or just, you know, getting screwed over by a poor process. So, of course, I'd like to see more of the, you know, the uniqueness, like sort of the more unique. Oh, the creeper! Ow! The more sort of unique. I should probably pick up the droppings. The more unique characters the more unique villains that they have, because you know, he has a really unique. Peter Parker has a really unique rogues gallery. You know, it can get a little gimmicky, and it can get a little like very comic booky. But I still think that's a. I should run away. No, but there are still some very good. You know, there are some very good villains. There's a lot of zombies here. Please, no zombies. But like I said, quite literally, there are any myriad of characters that they could set up for the Sinister Six, and I think they could do really well. Like I said, you know, I think they're really trying to get more into the, you know, stay away from the sort of like mustache twirling sort of villains, the ones that people sort of like. I think, you know, as movies have gone by, people are wanting more complex sort of narratives. I think it's gonna break immediately. Oh yeah, no, I got a watermelon. But I think they're trying to get more into more interesting villains, because, you know, a hero is only as interesting as his villains. So I think they're trying to stick towards getting more complex villains, and I think someone like Mysterio is, you know, as corny as he is in the comics, he is very interesting in the movies, or in the movie. So I'm really excited to see what they do more with his character as well, and with other types of interesting and more, you know, complex narratives and such. But as I was saying was, yes, the post-credit scene. I want to talk about that very lastly. Ooh, there's arrows. They're shooting arrows at me. Ah, don't shoot arrows at me. But sorry, I blanked out for a second. No, really, sort of the tail end of Endgame was sort of the reveal of the Daily Bugle, which I got really excited for. It sort of, to me, I don't know if anyone else noticed it sort of reminded me a lot of Alex Jones' show. How it sort of looks very like, you know, very crazy, very yelly. And what my favorite thing was that they actually brought back the character of J. Jonah Jameson, which is played by J.K. Simmons' character, which we've seen before actually in the Sam Raimi, the first iteration of the big Spider-Man movies, which was the one with Tobey Maguire. They actually brought J.K. Simmons back to play as the role of J. Jonah Jameson, which is I'm really happy for, because honestly, whenever I think of J. Jonah Jameson, I think of J.K. Simmons. And as well as they also actually had him play J. Jonah Jameson as well as in also in I believe the Ultimate Spider-Man, which is like one of the cartoons that they have for Spider-Man. They actually had him play the role of it, and like I said, I prefer to have him as the main voice. I don't know, he's the only person I can really see play J. Jonah. But yeah, they had him brought it back. Like I said, he sort of reminded me a little bit like Alex Jones, sort of like his show sort of just looks sort of like crappy, I guess if I could say. You know, I don't want to take a political stance on it, but if anyone who knows Alex Jones, he knows the sort of style of videos he makes, and it was very reminiscent of like the online sort of guy just yelling at the sky, being angry all the time, and throwing up conspiracy theories, which is essentially what Jameson's character is. This is a tongue twister. Is he's he's a crazed person trying to figure out, if he really is trying to figure out the answers of the world. As crazy as he sounds, he still tries his best to try to figure out what's going on. If he's being genuine about it or disingenuous about it, And it was really exciting because he actually did reveal at the very end. Like I said, spoiler alert for the movie. You sort of find out who Spider-Man is. Because Mysterio dies at the very end of the movie. You see, he gets shot by. I don't really know what happens. I just know that he dies. I guess he dies. I guess, but I said I'm not really convinced by it. He dies, and his last sort of thing was his Oh, you have water coming out. His last big message was Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and he framed Spider-Man for whatever was going on in London at the time. So I'm very excited to see what they do with that. Whenever they reveal his character, like I said, I'm a little bit worried because like in the last big comic book, Peter Parker died. He died. I think it was the Amazing Spider-Man. I forget exactly what character. But he dies, and the reason why is because they figure out who Peter Parker is. And you see him defending Aunt May from all the different Sinister Six characters. I think Green Goblin's the one that kills him, I believe. So I'm a little bit worried that they're going to kill him off, which I really hope that they don't, because I really love Tom Holland's character. I really do love Tom Holland's performance as Spider-Man. I thought he did it really, really well. I think he's the seminal version of Peter Parker, because I personally don't prefer the Andrew Garfield, and actually no, I prefer the Tobey Maguire one, but the Andrew Garfield one I did not really like all that much. I thought he was to me, he didn't really land all that well with me, because he just seemed too cocky. Like he was already too cool to be Spider-Man. He was too good looking to be Spider-Man. And just to see him sort of, like I said, I didn't really like Andrew Garfield's character, but I do prefer Tobey Maguire's. But like I said, I think Tom Holland's the seminal version of Peter Parker. I think I'd be really tragic if they did kill him off. They could always introduce Miles Morales. They could always introduce Miles Morales as the new Spider-Man. But I think they'd be rushing into it pretty soon if they tried doing that already. I think they should hold off on Miles Morales, because I think he is, he deserves, I think he deserves. I know he does. I know he does exist in the universe. In Homecoming, you see the character called Prowler. I don't know his exact name in the comic books, but he is Miles' uncle. If anyone saw Into the Spider-Verse, you see the Prowler, his character. Like I said, that's played by Donald Glover in Homecoming. He's Miles' uncle, and there is a deleted scene that he's talking to Miles, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be late on food or whatever." But we do understand that Miles is in the universe, so I'm excited to see what they do with his character. But I think it'd be a bit early to kill Spider-Man off. And at the very end, that was sort of like the mid-credit scenes. The very end is the post-credit scene, and you find out that, again, spoilers, really big spoilers. You find out that Nick Fury's character isn't actually Nick Fury. It's actually Talos from Captain Marvel. Sorry, I had like I said, I don't know if I mentioned it a little earlier, but I have a new dog, and he started coughing. So I hope he's okay. I was a little worried, but I have my family out there, so I think he should be okay. But as I was saying, sort of like the last stuff I want to talk about about the movie, and sort of my speculation on it and such, was you find out Nick Fury is actually played by Talos, and his wife and Maria Hill, Kobe Smulders' character, is played also by his wife, and you find out that the Skrull have been sort of impersonating those two characters. And at first you sort of figure out, you try to wonder, is Nick Fury dead? And actually, no, he's not. He's actually in, I believe, outer space. And he's actually being helped by a Skrull which, if anyone knows, in the comics are supposed to be villains, but in Captain Marvel they sort of retconned it a little bit, and it sort of said that they were more of like an oppressed people. So they're actually helping him out since Captain Marvel, and they're setting up, I believe, what's called Sword, which is a sentient world observation and response division or department, I believe. It's essentially Sword, but it's essentially Shield, but in space. So they sort of realized that something like Shield wouldn't be enough to protect the Earth, especially because of how, the threat sort of worked, because if I don't get salmonella. But as I was saying, I'm eating vegan in this game. No, I'm not. I'm terrible to the environment. But yes, sort of, I think they're setting up for Sword, which, like I said, is the space version of Shield, because they believe that they couldn't, Shield couldn't protect the Earth from threats, especially something like Thanos. So they realized that they had to sort of be proactive about their defense, and they created Sword, which is sort of like the space-bearing version of Shield, and they essentially protect the Earth from having any threats at all. Sort of Tony Stark's version of a shield, a sort of a suit of iron around the world. Sort of Tony's vision of protection. And that goes into to more character development of Tony Stark, but to keep it concise. Sort of, I think Tony Stark's version of what would protect the Earth from people like Thanos, and especially coming threats. I believe they're gonna eventually tee up probably Galactus. A lot of other more world-ending threats like Galactus or I'm blanking out right now on names, but I know a lot of characters. But a lot of other big villains, something like Kang the Conqueror, which is a time villain. He actually messes a lot with the Young Avengers. But again, there's a lot of different ways we can go about this video, but I want to keep it more concise to Spider-Man. So I think they are setting up the beginnings of Sword, and because they, for these movies to keep doing well, is they have to keep creating different villains, and someone like Kang or Galactus or some of the other bigger villains also. I can't bang out any of the names, but yes, there's so many different ways different avenues that they can go to. But yeah, that's sort of like my take on the videos. I said I'm very impressed with the Spider-Man movie. I thought I think it took the impossible task of trying to do a movie after Endgame, especially after how impactful it was for a lot of different people, especially Tony's death. I took that kind of hard. Even though, oh shoot, no, stop it! I just got stuff right now. You need to not mess with me. But like I said, I took it really hard. I was kind of sad. So it took on the impossible task of trying to be the post movie of being the end of Phase 4 and the end of Phase 3 kind of, and sort of beginning Phase 4, and a lot of the other movies that are going to be coming out probably till the end of time, because these movies are going to be eternal. Which is actually one of the movies that I bring out. But no, seriously, thank you for listening. I know I rambled a little bit here and there. Like I said, I don't do this very often, but I do very much enjoy them. So I should be talking to people who don't, who may not know a whole lot of comics, but who do love the MCU. I love just, sharing like my love for the franchise, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. I recommend anyone to go see Far From Home. I think it's a very exciting movie, and I think anyone who even likes Spider-Man remotely will very much enjoy this movie. And I'm out. This has been the Anonymous YouTuber.